Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Now today I'm going to be making a pumpkin pie. Now it's got mince in it, it's got cheese in it, it's got onion in it, and of course pumpkin, the star ingredient. So I'm going to run you through the ingredients and show you how to make it step by step. Okay, so let's take a look at what you'll need to make it. This recipe takes about 45 minutes to prepare, cook time about 1 hour, and serves about 4 to 6 people. And you need some onion, some butter, one onion which has been sliced, some pumpkin which just roughly cut up, that's 450 grams. Just need a teaspoon of brown sugar, that's just light brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar. I've got 2 eggs which we've beaten, and 145 grams of cheddar cheese which has been grated. You could use another cheese if you wanted to. And we've also got 500 grams of mince. And then to make the pastry, we've got 300 grams of plain flour. You could use gluten-free flour if you want to make a gluten-free version. We've got 30 grams of cheddar cheese and 150 grams of butter, which we've just cut up, and that's been chilled just to keep it cool in the fridge, which is very important when making pastry. I've also got some chilled water as well. Okay, so the first step to make the pie is we're going to make the pastry, so I'll show you how to do that. So to make the pastry, we're going to put our dry ingredients in first, so that's our flour, and then we're going to put our cheddar cheese in. And then we're going to put our butter in. And then we're just going to mix that together until it resembles breadcrumbs. And then we'll add our water after that. So we're just going to mix all that together just to get a breadcrumb texture. So as you can see, that's now all mixed together, just resembles breadcrumbs, and it's all nicely combined. We're going to add 80 millilitres of chilled water. This will combine it all together, and we're going to make it all come together in a firm ball. Just give it a mix together. And it's important to have the butter and the water cold. This will help the pastry keep together. When we come to rolling it out, we are going to chill it after we've brought it together all in a ball. So just keep mixing it together until you can gather it up into one ball. So that's now come together nicely. We're going to wrap it in some cling film and put it in the fridge for about half an hour so it'll firm up. If you find that it's too wet, then add a bit of flour, and then if you find that it's not coming together, maybe add a bit more water. So that's now in the fridge for half an hour. We're now going to start on our filling, and our first thing to do is fry our mince. So we're just going to brown the mince off in a frying pan in a little oil over a medium heat. Just going to get that nicely brown. And then once it's all brown, we'll put it to one side, and then we'll get on with the rest of the ingredients. Just break it up, just makes it easier to cook evenly. So the mince is now nicely browned. I've just drained it to get rid of any excess fat. And now we're going to fry our onions off. I've got a pan here with a little butter and some oil. Just added a bit of oil to stop the butter from burning. And once that's melted, we're going to add our onions. So we're going to add in our onions. Not just one onion sliced. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cook that for about 5 minutes. Okay, so the onions had 5 minutes, it's starting to soften. We're now going to add our pumpkin. I'm going to let that cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. So just let it cook for about 2 to 3 minutes over a low heat. So that's now had about 3 minutes. We're going to return the mince to the pan. And then we're also going to add 125 millilitres of cold water. Add the water in. Let's get that mix round. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put it on the simmer, put a lid on it for about 20 minutes or until the pumpkin is nice and soft. We're just going to leave on a low heat for about 20 minutes. So after 20 minutes the pumpkin is lovely and soft. We're just going to add our brown sugar, and then we're going to add our 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar. And 2. That little mix. And then what we need to do now is turn the gas off, and we need to leave that to cool before we do the next stage. So now our filling's cooled down, we're going to now roll out the pastry. I'm just going to cut into 2, so we've got half for the bottom and half for the lid. And then we're going to roll it out on a floured surface. And then I've just floured the rolling pin as well. And all we're going to do is we're just going to roll it, turn it, roll it, till it fits the bottom of our dish, which I've just lined with some parchment paper, just cut around the bottom of the tin. Now just stop it from sticking. So we're going to keep rolling it and turning it and rolling it till we get the right size. So the pastry's rolled out, and I put the disc into the bottom, and then just with some of the pastry left over, I've just put a bit around the sides, and then we've got the lid to go onto the top, which I've roughly cut. It doesn't matter too much because we can trim it when we put it onto the top. Of course, depending on how deep your dish is, you may need to not use so much pastry, but I've gone through a deep dish here. So what we're going to do now is, with our mixture that's cooled, and we're now just going to finish it off. And what we're going to do is we're just going to add 2 beaten eggs, and then we're just going to use half of our cheese as well. So I'm using cheddar, you could use whatever cheese you want to use really. and then we're going to keep some of the cheese to sprinkle on top of the pastry before it goes into the oven. So we're just going to give that a mix up. So we've got the cheese in there, we've got the pumpkin in there, we've got the onions, all those lovely flavours together. The mince and the egg just helps it all combine together. Once that's nicely mixed, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put it into our dish that we've lined with our pastry. Just going to spoon it into the dish. Just make sure it gets all covered nicely, and then we'll put the lid on after, and then that will go into the oven for about 30 minutes, and we'll sprinkle some cheese on it just before it goes in. So now the filling's all in, and we're now going to put a lid on, and then we will just trim it, make sure it's sealed in on the sides. So I've gone around, just sealed it all together, and then I'm just going to brush a bit of egg on top just to help it brown, and then we're going to put our cheese on. I've trimmed any excess pastry off as well. Just going to brush that all over, just give that a good egg wash. Of course, with the flavours in the pumpkin pie, you know, you could put some vegetables in, put some sweet potato in, whatever you fancy really. Okay, so that's nicely egg washed. Let's put a bit of cheese on top, and that will just melt lovely into the pastry as it cooks. A generous helping on there, and like I say, use what cheese you want to use. So I'm using cheddar, whatever takes your fancy. Now we're just going to make a couple of holes in the top, just some air holes. And that's going into the oven at 200 degrees Celsius, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, about gas mark 6, for about 30 minutes. The pie's just come out of the oven, it's had 30 minutes, and let's have a look at it. It's got a nice golden crust on top with the melted cheese, and you can see all around the side, so I'm pleased with that. So let's have a little look inside. There we go, you can see all the mince, the onion, and all the different flavours inside. Let's give it a little try. Get a nice bit of sweetness from the pumpkin. You've got the flavour from the onion and the cheese, richness from the cheese and the meat, and all together. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Nice crisp pastry as well. So if you enjoyed the video, and give it a go yourself. Like I say, use different cheese, or put different vegetables in, whatever you want to do. And if you did enjoy it, please give it a like. And there will be another Halloween themed cooking video coming up very soon. Some Halloween cupcakes. But they won't be ordinary cupcakes, because they will have a nice Halloween theme, of course. So keep an eye out for them. subscribe and ring that bell for notifications if you haven't done so already, and then you'll be notified when that video comes up, as that will be coming very shortly, as well as other ones as well. Thank you for watching, and see you again very soon. Bye for now.